Hello, everyone. This is Jason from I Can Thrive. I got one of my awesome clients here, Janet from New York. She's doing so well, and we're going to share the progress that she's making with the program. So let's get started.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Janet, what were you suffering with, and for how long?
I have long COVID and got chronic fatigue from it, and I'm 14 months in. So I'm still recovering. I would say I'm basically 50% recovered.
Excellent, fantastic. So, what was your life like before you got ill?
I was very, very active. Actually, if you would have asked me this question a year ago, I would have responded a little bit differently than now. I would have said that I had a very full life with lots of travel, festivals and dancing, and I had a very high achiever corporate job. But now having slowed down a little bit and reflected, I have to say that I like to say I'm a stress addict in recovery, and my people pleasing tendencies also didn't make it better. I didn't only have stress at my job with lots of overtime and lots of pressure, but I also didn't really give myself the time to relax in my free time. So I was always doing something or meeting someone in my
Hmm.
free time or doing high intensity workouts. So in hindsight, it was actually a disaster waiting to happen because I wasn't listening to my body at all. So I wasn't
Okay.
setting boundaries at work or in private time.
Okay. And how did it start and when?
So I got sick with COVID for the second time around Christmas 2022. I didn't get long COVID the first time around. So I also didn't really think there would be an issue coming up for the second time.
Hmm.
And I got it during a quite stressful time where we moved out of our apartment in Germany, and we were in the midst of our move to the States where we live currently. And I didn't give myself downtime after testing negative again, though I felt good and I thought I was recovered. I now know that I should have probably laid low for a few weeks,
Hmm.
but I didn't do that. We started a road trip of 4 weeks with lots of hiking. We drove 5,000 miles with a car. So I think my
Wow.
body was under a lot of stress,
Okay.
even though it was fun. And 3 weeks later, the first symptoms started. So it started for me with palpitations.
Mhm.
So I didn't really connect the dots with COVID. I thought something was wrong with my heart and maybe I contracted a myocarditis through COVID, but I didn't think of long COVID.
Mhm.
And I also didn't think it was long COVID until 2 months in because I was feeling good after COVID and I thought that long COVID is something that happens directly within the sickness where you just don't get better. Um,
Mhm.
so then I went to the long COVID clinic after a few weeks in and got the diagnosis of long COVID and CFS. And then I went to a lot of specialists. I think that what many people do in that situation, did lots of tests, but I wasn't presented a real solution on how to go about the situation. And this is really tough, or that was really tough when you're feeling really unwell.
Yeah, my goodness. I remember I was getting all kinds of testing done, and I was like, okay, what do I do now? And it was like such a long journey of trying all kinds of different things to heal. But okay, so what was it like for you at your worst? So, what were your main symptoms?
So I started out actually quite mild, but I got worse and worse within the first 6 months. So I slowly deteriorated more and more because the things that I was trying didn't help me or were actually bad for me until I was severe. So I was
Mhm.
housebound, laying in bed mostly to manage my symptoms because my palpitations didn't really stop until I was only laying in bed.
Mhm.
I wasn't really able to read without taking a break after 5 minutes, or I was only able to watch something for 10 minutes at a time. So
Mhm.
what I was able to do was very, very limited. And I had a range of symptoms. I had fatigue, palpitations, had pressure, headaches, migraines, insomnia, muscle aches, joint pain, also PAM. So a
Hmm.
lot of stuff which probably many people also have who go through the same stuff.
Hmm.
And I lived very secluded. I didn't see people besides my husband really, as this was very exhausting to me. I
Hmm.
didn't pursue any hobbies. I didn't really feel much joy. It was a very sad and hard time. And I imagined my new life in the new country quite differently.
Hmm. What did you do to try and recover? So you must have tried so many things.
I went to a lot of specialists and did a lot of tests, which didn't show really much. I tried some medications,
Hmm.
which also didn't help really. So I'm still on low dose naltrexone, but it helps somewhat, but it didn't really made a difference. Um,
Hmm.
and also I became engaged in some of the medical communities, which you can find online, like COVID long haulers on Reddit. And while I understand why they exist and they can be helpful at the beginning, I felt that it actually made me worse because the tips that
Mm,
I read
okay.
online didn't help me
Hmm.
at all. I read that, for example, some people try to every week walk a few minutes longer, and then I got really tense about
Mm.
it because I thought, oh, last week I was walking 10 minutes, so this week I should be able
Hmm.
to at least walk 10 or even more. And but the body fluctuates, right? So
Hmm.
you're not always able to do the same amount of time. And
Hmm.
yeah, so this actually caused a lot of crashes for me. And so I just got worse and worse. And I'm very happy that after a while I was open to programs like brain retraining, which actually in the in the communities, many people say bad things about, which is why I didn't try it for a while. And I get
Hmm.
really
Hmm.
angry at that because it helped me so much.
Awesome. So, in terms of brain new training, what really attracted you to the brain new training? Did you see some interviews or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
so interviews were something that helped me a lot.
Hmm.
I find it very inspiring. Because I think it's very important to listen to people who have recovered because obviously that what they're doing has helped them and
Hmm.
worked.
Yes.
And I would say from kind of every recovery video, I took something for me, which I put into my recovery toolbox. So that was really good. And yeah, many people mentioned that they're doing brain retraining and that it has helped them. So I thought I have to try it at least.
Excellent. So, since you started my program, what kind of results have you noticed? So, what kind of progress?
So for me, this was my second brain retraining
Hmm.
program. The first one I started was another one. After being at my lowest point, I saw some increases, but I had hit a plateau quite soon because the tools and wordings didn't fit me
Okay.
completely. It was a good
Hmm.
start, and I also knew that this was the right way to go, but I knew that I needed something
Awesome.
different. So
Okay.
this is when I started
Hmm.
yours. And after starting yours, I saw new improvements very soon. I was
Excellent.
able to walk longer, do more. All the guidelines that you gave were really, really helpful for me. And I realized what I did wrong. And yeah, you remembered me quite often of important
Hmm.
things, which was very, very helpful for me. So your close connection is still something that I like to use and cherish.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I remember that I was then able to do a certain walk very quickly. It was a walk that I wanted to do for a very long time around a lake here in Central Park. And it was really great. So I still remember how happy I was when I finished it. And the day was really sunny. So I was very happy. And I was also able to socialize and see people more, which I struggled with before, and go to restaurants that are a little bit further away from my apartment. And also, which was probably the biggest highlight for me, I was able to go on a 3 week vacation.
Awesome.
So you helped me to prep for it using brain retraining. So I still remember how you prepped me to go on the flight, which I was quite afraid of because I wasn't used to being outside of the house for hours during that time. But it was a huge success, and the trip gave me a lot of confidence.
Fantastic. Awesome. So, what are some patterns that you noticed that were keeping you stuck?
So I think one of the patterns that I still struggle with, and it's an ongoing process, is my achiever. This one was
Okay.
really tough because being sick, I wasn't able to achieve much really. So I focused everything that strength that I had in getting better. I kind of saw it as my job, and I tried to
Hmm.
exercise my way out of it. So, as I said,
Hmm.
every day I
Hmm.
wanted to walk a few minutes longer because I read online that somebody did that. And I got very tense and had no fun at all with the things that I did, which was really not helpful. And also,
I understand.
people pleaser, also something that I learned during childhood. I have a hard time
Hmm.
saying no, which I'm trying to practice. So, not to overstep my boundaries as often. And
Very good.
I would say another pattern was probably being stuck in anxiety and fear of either not being able to do things or of
Hmm.
sometimes not getting better. Because I had like this deep
Hmm.
fear that if it doesn't work out, I will end up abandoned. And everyone who loves
Oh,
me
I
will
understand.
leave me because I am sick. So I think I
Wow.
tried to
Wow.
push it
Hmm.
down, but this was probably a fear that was always around and
Hmm.
didn't help me get better.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow. And what was a breakthrough moment for you? So, what's a moment that you're like celebrating?
You mean in the past?
Yeah, as you're healing.
Um, Yeah, so I would say one of the biggest breakthroughs was probably the two vacations that I did, like the first one I mentioned.
Yeah.
And the second
Hmm.
one was, I think 3 weeks ago, we went on a trip for a week, which was something that was really interesting to me to test out because being around 50% recovered, it's easier for me to do things, but certain things still take up more time, like preparing for a flight, packing, stuff like that. So it was very interesting to me
Hmm.
to see how worth it is to go on a 1 week trip, and it was very worth it. So I had a lot of fun, and it was so
Awesome.
cool to see how much
Hmm.
easier it was this time because the first trip
Hmm.
was 4 months ago, and the second trip was now, and I was able to do normal beach days, like going to the beach, staying as long as I wanted, go to a restaurant directly on the way back, and we often even went to the supermarket all in one go, which wasn't
Awesome.
which wasn't even I couldn't even think of it the first time around. So that was really cool.
Excellent. Fantastic. And what's it been like for your husband? My goodness, he must be overjoyed.
Yeah, he tells me quite often that he sees big increases, and he
Uh-huh.
also so currently we're often doing like medium-sized outings within the city where we like to try to explore certain areas that we haven't been to. We often then, I don't know, walk around for a while and or go to a park. And then we
Mhm.
end in going to a restaurant. And all in all, those trips take, I would say, 4 hours. And he
Awesome.
just told me
Wow.
that um, he didn't really he didn't it didn't really settle in for him that I'm now able to do
Hmm.
those things, which feels
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
normal. And I'm so happy. Yeah.
Excellent. Fantastic. So what have you learned from this and how has it helped you to grow?
So yeah, there's a few learnings for me that are very important.
Hmm.
One thing is, which I realized now with getting better, that I often did things because I thought that I should do them and not because I was really looking for joy in them. And I realized how
Hmm.
important it really is to find joy in recovery, even in darkest times, because I was often very tense and in my head. and that's not good. So it was very important for me to find hobbies. Like, for example, I started weekly private dancing lessons, and it's so much fun.
Awesome.
And I often try to, if I think maybe that might be too much, I try to go look for the smallest increment. And like, for example, with
Hmm.
the dancing lessons, I thought, okay, I'm gonna start doing them. And even if I'm only able to do 20 minutes at a time, that's fine. It's still gonna be fun. And
Hmm.
in the end, I was able to do the whole dancing lessons in one go. So,
Awesome.
yeah, just be open and have fun. I think that's really important. And also, because of my achiever in me, it was very important for me to realize that it's okay to take a break and focus on
Hmm.
yourself
Hmm.
for a while, that
Hmm.
you are lovable the way you are, and not because you fulfill
Hmm.
certain standards that you set for yourself. Like, for example, for me, having a
Hmm.
high paying, high stress job for outside validation, you don't need that. Of course,
Hmm.
it's good that you have a
Hmm.
job and you have to pay for bills
Hmm.
somehow, but it needs to be in a certain balance.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, as I said, another thing is leaving those medical communities behind after a while when you feel like it doesn't really do you good, and find your own
Mm-hmm.
way. Look what's helping you. Try a brand new training program. Be open about it and see how it's going to help you.
Awesome. Fantastic. Excellent. So, what are you looking forward to next?
Yeah, a lot of stuff actually. So I'm still not working because I feel like I still want to currently enjoy my current status, but I will start
Excellent.
volunteering within the next month. So I
Hmm.
love animals, and I'm going to start volunteering at an animal shelter, kind of like a in
Excellent.
between, for the next job. And the next
Hmm.
job would be starting to get back to work.
Hmm.
Um, and there, I really want to look for a job that is more fun and enjoyable for me, and where I'm able to set boundaries. So
Excellent.
I'm very excited about that. And yeah, going to dancing events, going to festivals, which I'm looking forward to too. And I'm also going to two weddings of friends soon, and looking
Wonderful.
forward to that. Yeah,
Excellent. So, if someone was thinking about joining my program, what would you say to them?
I would say do it. Getting help was so important for me. I think I wouldn't have come this far without help, because the first months that I did it on my own, or I did it with those medical communities, it didn't really help me at all. It just made me worse. And yeah, having a program, and having somebody by my side made all the difference.
Hell yeah. Awesome. So, if there's any wisdom or advice that you'd like to share with others who are also healing, what would you say to them?
I have to think
Okay,
about
that's
that.
okay. It's kind of like if your best friend was going through the same thing, what would you say to them? How would you, maybe like one or two things, words of wisdom or advice that you give them?
Sure. So I would say, even in your darkest times, remember that you're going to get better. And that's very important to kind of remember yourself of, because yes, even though I had moments where I doubted it or was really depressed, because it's understandable with the current
Hmm.
situation, but it's very important to remember that the human body is a crazy thing, and it's made to overcome
Hmm.
lots of boundaries, and that you can do it.
Hmm.
Just take your time, have fun, and you're going to do it.
Fantastic. Awesome, Janet. Thank you so much for sharing the inspiration of your story. I'm so looking forward to sharing your progress once you're fully healed as well. Yeah.
Looking forward
Awesome.
to that too.
Fantastic. I hope everyone really enjoyed the interview. I hope you took some notes and you started applying this in your own recovery as well. If you could do one thing for me, I'd like you to really to share this interview with anyone who's overcoming chronic fatigue or long COVID, to give them inspiration, to show them what's possible. Thank you so much. Please like and share the video, and we'll speak later. Thank you so much, Janet.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.
Excellent.
Very
Fantastic. I'm
cool.
so happy for you.
Yeah, thank
Excellent. I
you.
give you a massive hug if I could, and a massive high five as well. Fantastic. If you would like to watch more inspiring videos like this, you can watch my clients' victory stories, or you can watch my full recovery story here.